good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. And Bruce, as we head into the new year, Nuggets Nation is holding its breath. Nikola Jokić goes down with what looks like a hyperextended knee. MRI results, I think, will probably come back today. But when I saw this, so many different things ran through my mind, not only this season, but honestly, his legacy as well.
Well, yeah, I happened to be watching the game at that particular moment, and my breath left me. It was like, it was a holy shit moment.
Yeah.
One of those, and so then you're just sitting there, and it occurred to me, what are we going to learn right now? I mean, we're just going to sit here and panic because we won't know anything until tomorrow. The initial reports were at least somewhat encouraging considering what they could have been, but until we get the MRI today, probably it's best to not speculate too much. But we know what it is. I mean, if he's got to have a knee, if it's an ACL, he's done.
Yeah,
that's it, and he's done, and the Nuggets are done.
Right.
So, period.
We'll talk more about that in just a minute, but first I want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in the Colorado auctions. For over 45 years, on Tuesday, January 6th, Rice Bistro and Sushi are having an auction for mixers, slicers, dining chairs and tables, smallwares, electronics, and more. Bidding is started at rollerauction.com, and don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
Through the scenarios because we don't know what the results are going to be. And I think that you just said it, and I agree, so I will repeat it. If Jokić is done for the season, all due respect to Murray and Gordon and everybody else, I don't see how they can win a title. We can agree on that. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Yeah. Slam dunk. Yeah.
So with that, let's say the injury is 4 to 6 weeks. And honestly, if you told me right now, it could be a 2-week injury, a 4 to 6 week injury, or a season-ending injury,
and I got 4 to 6, babe. I'm taking the 4 to 6 right now.
Right. Even if there's a chance for a 2-week injury, knowing the worst case scenario, I'll go 4 to 6 weeks. But with that, let's say it is 4 to 6 weeks. Do you believe the Nuggets still have an excellent shot to win another championship, even if they are one of the lower seeds, if they are healthy going into the playoffs?
Not excellent. No, I would say that it would be somewhere south of excellent. They would still have a shot.
Yep.
If you've got a healthy basketball team, even if you're having to go on the road, I like the way that the Nuggets are set up. They're set up for the postseason. This is no longer a team that could do well in the regular season and then fade in the postseason because of a lack of depth. Their depth is what gives them the best chance. So if you can guarantee me good health come April, with Jokić leading the way, the Nuggets are still in the mix. But an excellent chance to win a championship? No.
Yeah, that was probably a bit of an overstatement. I should have said, do you still think they have a pretty good chance to win the whole thing?
Yeah,
my answer would be yes.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, but that's a huge the way this season is going.
Yeah,
that is a huge underlined, italicized if. Yeah. I mean, it's bold 5 times over, right? I mean, they've got 4 starters now out of the lineup.
Yeah.
So and there is going to be so much stress on Jamal Murray to keep this thing going until they get some help coming in here. So it's a tough situation, and they obviously the only luck they've had is bad luck. So at this point, thinking that they could ever have 10 guys healthy, which would cover their first and second units, to me is a little bit wishful thinking based on what we've seen to this point.
Okay. With that, they still have 4 more games left on their road trip. It is not necessarily a buzzsaw, although Toronto is playing well. They will have a reunion of sorts with Michael Porter Jr. in Brooklyn. As David Adelman said, he thinks that Christian Brown and or Aaron Gordon could be back by the end of this road trip, but there's still 4 more games to go. I'm not going to say I would bet on it right now, but looking at the standings right now, the Nuggets are the 3rd seed. They're 5.5 games out of first place behind Oklahoma City, but they're only a game and a half out of the 6th spot where Minnesota holds down that spot. Game and a half lead over them, 4 more games to go. I'm not so sure that by the time this road trip is over, they're not sitting with the 6th seed. Because remember, Jokic is definitely out. Cam Johnson is definitely out. And maybe Gordon and or Brown come back.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a tenuous position. Obviously, you give them – I give them a mulligan for last night. I mean, when your whole season flashes before your eyes, when the best player in the world is writhing on the court, I get it. That's a tough moment to overcome. So I give them a mulligan for last night. But this is not a team that has been playing great basketball. They've had some moments, but what have they lost now? 3 of their last 4 or 3 of their last 5. They've lost a couple of games in a row now. They've given up. They're starting to bleed points a lot more than they were earlier in the season. I think that they've got a tough road here the rest of this trip just because of what's happened with Jokic. Now, it depends on the news that we get today. If the news is good, maybe that will take a little pressure off of them. Who knows? We'll have to just wait and see. But yeah, this is a very difficult moment. Fortunately, it's still the end of December that the Nuggets are dealing with this. I mean, the NBA, what's the thought in the NBA doesn't really get going until, late January, early February. We really don't start paying attention to it. But yeah, they're in a tenuous position right now. No question about it.
You and I have known each other for a long time. We've done a show together for a long time. You know me. I really don't care about postseason awards. I just care about winning. I care about winning championships.
Right.
I don't care about MVPs, defensive players of the year. That's all good stuff for those individual players. As a media member, as a fan, that stuff doesn't really resonate with me. However, there is a change in how I feel about this today. And here's the reason why. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Jokic has an injury that lasts 5 weeks. Sake of argument. He's not going to be eligible to win his 4th MVP award because you have to play at least 65 games. So I don't mean to make this sound like a silly question, but does Jokic's legacy as a top 10 player in the league overall, league history, top 10 overall in league history, is that more important than him winning another NBA title? And this is why I bring it up, because there are a lot of great players who have won 2 NBA championships, lots of them. But there are only 5 players in NBA history who have won 4 MVP awards. Only 5.
Right.
Kareem, Jordan, LeBron, Russell, and Chamberlain.
Yeah.
You are now in a category with 4 MVPs, and he is having, arguably, at least statistically, the greatest season in NBA history. He is a slam dunk to win the MVP award. And that puts him in a position where, sorry, you just can't deny him being top 10 of all time if he wins another MVP. And this year it would be as unanimous, I think, as you can get. Winning another title would be great, but honestly, I care more about his legacy than the Nuggets winning another championship.
And the irony is that he probably is more worried about winning a championship.
He should be.
Than his legacy. Yeah, absolutely. It speaks to who Nikola Jokic is. I like your logic. Your logic is interesting, and I think that it holds some water from a historical perspective.
Yeah.
In the moment, I don't know how much that type of stuff is taken into consideration. My guess with Nikola Jokić, who I obviously don't know well beyond putting a microphone in his face and being around him a little, my guess is that Nikola Jokić is probably more concerned right now about getting that knee in position where he can come back and play with his team as quickly as he possibly can. I think he's that simple of a guy, and I mean that in the most flattering of ways. I think he loves to play the game. He loves to play the game for the joy of playing with players and the beauty of the game and all of those things. I think that is what will motivate him right now. There is the historical perspective that people like us and others nationally will examine, and certainly that falls into that category. There are two areas where he will be judged: the number of MVPs. And now we're talking about being judged with the greatest players of all time.
Right.
So he is so far up the ladder that don't think that anything is a slight here. We're talking about now there's a room of 5 players at the top of this building, and he's knocking at that door saying, "Hey, can I come in?" And it's the rarest of rare. So that's how he will be judged. I don't think his legacy is in any kind of danger right now.
No. I'm not, Bruce.
Right,
I'm not saying his legacy
We're talking about
is
in the moment. We're talking about in the moment. Right.
I'm referring to top 10 of all time.
Yeah.
Slam dunk. This guy's a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
And I look at it from this perspective. I am sitting on a bar stool next to another sports fan,
right,
who is arguing with me that Jokic is not a top 10 player of all time. I have a stronger argument with 4 MVPs than I do with 2 titles, by far.
Right.
It's a much stronger argument. But this is where it's a real kick in the shins. Because, again, he is let's start with this. He is having an historic month,
right,
for starters. He is leading the NBA this month in points, assists, and rebounds. And I looked it up, there is no documented evidence of any player in league history doing that for 1 month.
And shooting percentage.
Yeah. But for reference on that, no player has ever led the NBA in points, rebounds, and assists over the course of an entire season. Right now, Jokic is 5th in scoring, 1st in rebounds, 1st in assists. The closest to ever do that over the course of a season is Will Chamberlain. He led the league in scoring, and he led the league in rebounding in the same season. By the way, he did lead the league in assists 1 season. Mm-hmm. But for 1 season alone, he hit 2 of the 3 categories. And this is why it would be a kick in the shins. Because we talked about the MVP, that he has to play at least 65 games.
Yeah.
For his stats to count officially, he has to play at least 70% of the games, which is 58 games. So if he doesn't, this season will be like it never existed.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, if
it's kind of like a guy, in baseball who hits .410 for the entire season, mm-hmm. but he only played in 120 games.
Doesn't have enough at-bats or plate appearances to qualify for the batting championship.
Correct.
I got you.
And all of this is completely erased from the record books.
Yeah.
Once he dips under 58 games, when you look at stats on ESPN, CBS, whatever, you just won't see his name.
Yeah. No.
He'll be erased.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're fixing to find out, as our buddy Gary Kubiak would say.
Yep.
And you used the phrase correctly. We're all holding our breath in a figurative sense over this big lug from, Serbia, who we have come to love and appreciate and cheer for. And I like I said, it physically affected me last night because I happened to be watching the game at that time. I was still in the office. I had the Avs on at the same time. So you're feeling the elation of watching the Avs get out to a 3-1 lead, although they can't for the life of them score on a power play. But that's
didn't they just hire a new coach to do that? Didn't they just hire a new coach to do that?
Well, they may have hired a new coach, but they're getting no results. I mean, it's the one thing about them that you almost write off every game. I think they were 0 for 4 last night. They were 0 for 3 the last time that I looked. But they still win a game 5-2 against a good hockey team.
Right.
A good hockey team. Then I'm sitting there and I'm watching Jokic rolling around on the floor, and it's just it was my heart seized. It was bad stuff all the way around. So hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Understand the historical perspective. You know, if this guy's out for a week or 2 weeks or something like that, I tend to be with you. Make sure that this guy is playing on a stable knee. Don't screw around with it for silly reasons. Make sure that he's ready to go when he needs to be ready to go to give this team a chance in the postseason.
Let's put something else in perspective. And I'm going to compare him to Michael Jordan.
Sure.
Yeah. Michael Jordan missed 2 seasons. Bulls made the playoffs both times with Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
Right? I think the Nuggets make the playoffs.
I think so.
I think they make the playoffs, but they're going to be such a low seed. I don't think they get out of the first round.
Yeah, I would say that they would have a lot of issues there.
And with that, the Bulls did get out of the first round without Michael Jordan twice. So when you talk about just how important a player is, if you want to go to the top of the hill and look at Michael Jordan, the Bulls were able to – they had such a great player in Scottie Pippen that they were able to advance in the playoffs and make the playoffs. Jamal Murray is not at that level. One more thing about Jokic and comparing him to Chamberlain. And by the way, I find it very interesting that when you look at the top centers of all time, Kareem, Akeem, Shaquille O'Neal, Bill Russell, so on and so forth. Why is it that Jokic is only compared to Chamberlain? How come we never compare him to Abdul-Jabbar? Because he's better than Jabbar. Why do we compare him to Bill Russell? Because he's better than Russell. Russell was an unbelievable defensive player. Yeah. He wasn't a top-shelf great offensive player. Shaquille O'Neal, I wouldn't say it to his face, he's better than Shaquille O'Neal. Okay? Right? My point is, and it was a different era, and we've talked about that. But Will Chamberlain is considered to be by many. I understand that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has scored the most points in NBA history. Many would consider Will Chamberlain the greatest center of all time. And we're only comparing, and I'm talking about nationally, we only compare Jokic to Chamberlain. But to differentiate the two, what an accomplishment to lead the league in scoring and rebounding. But you can do that as a center. Yeah. Right? But to lead the league in assists and rebounds is Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani-ish. It's leading the league in home runs and ERA. Two totally different skill sets, which is breathtaking to me.
It is. People forget it. Now, I will say this about Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was in the very same kind of vein a unicorn like Nikola Jokic is, in very different ways, because Chamberlain's athleticism simply overwhelmed smaller players in a generation where they just didn't have the time. Russell was his kryptonite. That Correct. Was, I mean, and the Celtics. And Russell had always had a better supporting cast around him. The Celtics were fantastic when you get into Sam Jones and Bailey Howell and John Havlicek and that crew. Chamberlain never had that. People forget that Wilt Chamberlain, at the same time that he was in the NBA, was a world-class track athlete. Yeah. He was a 7-foot high jumper at the University of Kansas. That's a 7-foot 2 or 3 inch guy going up over 7 feet. I mean, he was just an absolute, just a one-off kind of guy, very much like Nikola Jokic. I think that's why they get compared, because they all were so unique. Kareem was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Maybe the greatest offensive force as a center in the history of the game, because he had a shot that was impossible to defend.
Right.
I mean, the baby hook, that was his deal, the sky hook rather.
Right.
That was his deal, and you just couldn't defend it. Much like you couldn't defend Dirk Nowitzki's fadeaway.
Right.
At 7 feet. I mean,
can I take it a step further?
Sure.
We talk about Chamberlain and Kareem and all of these big centers who were unbelievable defensive players, and they were unbelievable. I can promise you that Nikola Jokic would never be able to defend Kareem's skyhook. He would never be able to defend Hakeem's dream shake. He would never be smart to stand in the lane when Shaq is bearing down with the ball in his hand, driving towards the hoop.
Right.
I will concede all of that.
Right.
But you know what? None of those guys would be able to guard Jokic either.
No. Oh, no. Or chase him around the entire game.
Right. Now, it was a different game. Listen, if in today's game, would Wilt Chamberlain maybe try to develop a three-point shot? Might. I don't know. It was a different game back then. It was a different – I mean, here's something else which I just read about this, which is bizarre. Right now, Nikola Jokic has a higher three-point shooting percentage than Larry Bird did in his best season.
Yeah.
I can go through the list. He has more assists this season than Jason Kidd did in his best season. Yeah. He has more points per game this season than Shaquille O'Neal did in his best season.
Can you imagine any of those guys? What's the scene in Airplane when Kareem is talking?
Listen, kid,
you try running up and down the floor, chasing Bill Walton or whoever it was. I can't remember.
Walton and Lanier up and down the court.
Yeah, Walton and Lanier up and down the court, and see how the hell you think. But it's absolutely true.
Right.
Can you imagine any of those centers running up and down the court and trying to guard Nikola Jokic the way that he plays the game?
Right.
Now, it's all relative, because Bill Russell never had to defend a center like that. Bill Russell was a great athlete too, to make no mistake about it. University of San Francisco, they won 2 national championships in the mid-50s, late 50s. He was a tremendous athlete, but he was a stationary defender. He blocked shots and rebounded at the rim. The game was a different kind of game. We don't know what Bill Russell would have been like asked to defend guys this far away from the basket. The three-point shot was not even a twinkle in the NBA's eye at that particular point. So the game was totally different. But to be considered in that group, like we are talking this morning, and doing it without even blushing, that's where Nikola Jokic is. And I think that he has an international standing in that regard that's pretty unshakable. It would be an absolute shame. I'm not going to go tragedy, because we've got enough tragedy in the world that goes beyond a player not being able to play a season of basketball. It would be an absolute shame to see him lose a year, especially this type of year, in the building block of his career.
Coming up after the break, Justin Herbert's not going to play. Other players who are dinged up for the Chargers are not going to play. So should we expect a similar dominant performance, or should we see a dominant performance against the Chargers by the Broncos like they had, I don't know, over the Chiefs last year in the regular season finale? And if we don't, which is 38-0? And if we don't, should there be reason for concern? That's next.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corned bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Maverick Tremor truck or over $25,000 in cash the weekend of January 9th. Daily cash drawings are every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Players can earn daily entries with every locked-up jackpot or by redeeming players' points on their players' cards. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, great promotions, delicious food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl want to tell you about Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. New Year's is coming up. You having a New Year's party? Do you want to do the cooking, or do you want to let somebody else do the cooking for you? If you do, I've catered in from Smokin' Dave's, and they could do small parties. They could do big parties. The food is outstanding. As I've said before, it's not just the best barbecue spot in town. It is one of the best restaurants in town because they take things that are barbecue-ish and put it on a menu and put it on a plate that is so incredibly creative that you are not going to get it anywhere else in town. I don't know really anywhere else, period. Dave had a prior life, other restaurants, and he's taken that combination of flavors and made it into something special. So whether it's stopping by their location off of 36 in Pecos or catering in for a party, nobody does it better than Smokin' Dave's. You can find them again off of 36th and Pecos. Time now for What's Trending.
What's trending on Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl? Brought to you by Mile High Sports.
I want to say one more thing about this whole Jokic comparison in theory to Will Chamberlain. I think it is fair to say that I understand it was a different era. Would you argue that Will Chamberlain was the most dominant player in NBA history, even over Michael Jordan?
No, I would not argue that. I do. He was the most dominating physical presence and talent in NBA history. Yes.
He only won 2 titles.
Yeah.
Just 2. Now, that's 2 more than I have.
Yeah, one of them late with the Lakers.
Well, hold on, and I bring that up for a reason.
Right.
When he won his first in 1967,
Philly.
Billy Cunningham was on that roster. An all-time player, Hall of Famer, anniversary team. 75th anniversary, one of the greatest players of all time.
Right.
I don't remember Jokic ever playing with a guy who made an all-anniversary team, Hall of Fame. How about an all-star?
Yeah, let's start there.
Let's start with there. And then when he went to the Lakers, he played with some guy who was pretty good. I think his name was Jerry West, and I think Gail Goodrich was on that team too. He played with talent.
Yes.
Jokic, it's not that he hasn't played with talent. He hasn't played with recognized talent on a resume. All-star, Hall of Famer, all-anniversary team.
Right. Yes.
If Chamberlain is considered a top 10 player of all time and won 2 titles, I am more than happy to argue with anybody. Jokic is a top 10 player of all time, winning just 1 title with no all-stars. And, oh, by the way, statistically doing crazy things as well, and happens to be a 4-time MVP.
And Eric, I think, and you're doing that at age 30 for Jokic, where he is in his career. I think that he has done enough in his career now to be in that argument, discussion, debate, however you want to term it. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes from here, but that's the greatness of Nikola Jokic.
I am not trying to pick on this guy specifically because, again, to me, you can make the case easily he's a top 10 player of all time. And I am picking one of the best of the best. Who would you rather have, Jokic or Larry Bird? Who's a better player?
Jokic.
Yeah. Now, Bird was
Larry Bird's one of the greatest players that ever played the game.
And he's in everybody's top 10.
Of course.
Bird was a pretty good defensive player.
Yeah.
Wasn't great. And I think he was, on an all defensive team and so on and so forth. But when you look at the totality of what both guys did on the floor, I mean, you look at a Magic Johnson. He was such a unicorn, right? Okay. And, oh, by the way, when it comes to MVPs, something else I forgot. When you look at guys who've won 3 MVPs, this is why, to me, it's important he gets a 4th. No one would ever consider Moses Malone a top 10 player of all time. And he was a dominant player.
Yeah, he was.
He was unbelievable.
Yep.
But no one would ever put him in the top 10, but he did win 3 MVPs. That's why Jokic needs a 4th to separate himself, so you don't have the Barstool argument, well, Malone has 3 MVPs and Jokic has 3 MVPs.
Can you imagine?
How many titles does Malone have?
Do you know how many championships? All right, I'm going to make a trade.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a historical trade down through the years, and I'm going to ask you the question, how would it have altered the story of the Boston Celtics if Nikola Jokic had been Robert Parrish?
Meaning what?
Think that if they had Nikola Jokic instead of Robert Parrish with Bird, McHale, Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, and that group. What they win? 2 championships, maybe, I think, during that time. I'd have to go back and
in the 80s?
They would have won 5. It would have been like the 60s all over again when the Celtics won like 8 championships.
Right.
That's how that's how he would. In Denver, I don't know how many championships he's going to end up winning. We don't know that yet. Right. Maybe it's 1, maybe it's multiple. I don't know. If he had been a Boston Celtic with that group, they would have won every single year, just with that core of players because they all played great team basketball. Can you imagine Jokic with Bird?
Yeah, but you know what's funny?
Oh, my God.
But on the flip side, you know what's not a good combination? Magic and Jokic. Because both offenses run through each guy.
Yeah. Well,
they find a way to make it work, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But and Bird was a terrific facilitator, and you can make the case the offense kind of ran through him. But he wasn't the wrong one running the offense.
No, Dennis Johnson ran most of that offense.
Correct.
So,
anyway.
Right. Yeah, but anyway, we digress. It's fun to talk old NBA, though. It really is.
Love it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, let's get into Sunday's game. Yep. Justin Herbert, he's out on Sunday. Quoting Jim Harbaugh, starters with, quote, the most bruises and need, quote, the most healing, won't play either. I don't know what that looks like. Should we look at this particular game and say it should be a similar score to what we saw in the regular season finale last year against the Chiefs when they sat their starters 38-0, whatever the score was? And if we don't see it, should we be concerned? I mean, honestly, it's not that I'm dying to see a blowout. We need to see a blowout. We cannot watch this team struggle to beat the Chargers while they didn't struggle against the Chiefs. The final score is real. It was that close. The game was that close, even though statistically it wasn't.
Doesn't bother me in the slightest. I just want. I would just like to see them win the game, and I really don't care how they win the game. They need to go out. They need to come out of this game with the top seed in the AFC.
Yeah, we see it differently. I'm sorry.
We do see it differently. And
this is a preseason game.
No, it's not. No, it's not, Eric. It's not a preseason game. This game is at home to decide home field advantage in the AFC. It is the furthest thing from a preseason game that you can have.
They are playing a preseason opponent.
It doesn't matter.
I understand, Bruce.
There's not going here. Let me put it to you this way. You're thinking of it in terms of the Broncos and their results. Do you think that the Chargers are going to have an asterisk on their record because they didn't play their guys the last game of the season? They're doing the best job that they can do to put themselves in a position to win. And I like the way he's thinking. He's playing for the 7 seed because he thinks that he can go into New England and win against a Patriots team that could be overinflated.
I don't think his reasoning is because he wants the Patriots. I don't think anybody personally should want the Patriots. To me, they're the most balanced team in the AFC.
I'm going to use your metric on the Patriots.
Okay. Who have they played?
1 win. Mm-hmm. Now you do this a lot on the Broncos in truth serum over the last few years.
Yep.
And we've had this discussion. So let's take 30 seconds and have the discussion about the Patriots.
Sure.
Now, I'm going to end up being more on your side of the argument based on balance and what we have seen, quarterback play, etc.
Yep.
With the Patriots.
Right.
I'm with you on that part of an argument.
Yep.
But if we're going to apply the same metric or the same expectation, the New England Patriots have won 1 game against a team with a winning record, and they are 1-2 in games against teams in the playoffs.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't take anything for me. That doesn't take anything away from the Patriots.
Yep.
I think the Patriots are a problem.
Yep.
I think they're a problem. But if I'm sitting there at 5, 6, or 7, which is where Harbaugh is going to be, win or lose, no better than 5, 6, or 7,
right?
Then, I'll take my chances. I probably don't want to go to Jacksonville. I think at this point,
they've already seen what that movie looks like.
Yeah.
Where they got dominated.
Well, in the second half, in particular.
They had the Chargers had 140 yards of total offense against Jacksonville.
Yeah. So I don't know. No. You and I will agree to disagree on this. I care only about the Broncos winning because everything changes at the end of this week. Everybody is even, and the 14-3 doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you got there. It doesn't matter the manner in which you won. You're there now. And you're there now only having to win 2 games instead of 3. And both of those games are at home.
Is it fair to say that this is a really important game for the Broncos? On a scale of 1 to 10, it's Spinal Tap. This is an 11.
Is
that fair
11.
to say?
Yes. I would
they have
say
everything to play for
to
win this game.
Yes.
Is it fair to say they are going to be playing a Chargers team that will not have its starting quarterback, and we have no idea how many starters will be sitting?
That's a statement of fact, yes.
Okay, so just looking at the facts here, the Broncos have every reason to want to win this game. They are playing basically by the second half, they will be playing a Chargers preseason roster. All those starters will be gone. In the second half, they're going to be playing a bunch of backups. So they have every reason to want to win this game. They're playing a bunch of backups more than likely in the second half. And the final score is 13-10, and you're feeling good about it, if that's the final score.
How are the Rams feeling last night?
This isn't what is. I'm asking you about this. And by the way,
I think. By
the way, hold on a second.
The top seed, I think you're feeling pretty damn good.
Hold on a second. If I'm not mistaken, were the Falcons sitting their starters?
No, but I mean.
Oh no. That's my point. Bijan Robinson played.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Justin Herbert's
Eric,
not playing.
It's more important for you, and God bless you. It's more you're more about style points than
No,
I
I'm
am.
not about style
yeah,
points.
you are. You are about style. You're about how do you look doing it.
I know what I don't like
I
is
just don't care.
No, what I don't want to see is the Broncos struggle against a backup roster in a game that means everything to them.
Eric, if the Broncos from this point forward, if the Broncos win 4 straight games by an average of 16 to 13, how are you going to feel?
Great, because they're playoff teams they're playing. They're playing playoff teams.
Then why? Then what? What is it that sets you to the point where you have to see them looking a certain way to move forward? I don't understand.
Because they have everything to play for. They're playing a team that is going to have its probably backup roster on the field, and you're struggling with that. What I'm saying is that does not give me confidence going into the playoffs, in which you're coming off that Jacksonville loss. It was a close game against the Chiefs that were missing starters. Then it could be the same thing this week. I don't see much momentum going into the playoffs. And by the way, I can make the case all day that momentum is overrated.
Yes, I would agree.
And then the reason why I say that is we can dive more into this tomorrow. The Avalanche lost 6 of 7 games to end the regular season before they won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Nuggets lost 5 of 7 games going into the playoffs. But then again, Jokic didn't play in many of those games. And when he did, they were limited minutes. When the Broncos won the Super Bowl 10 years ago, they closed out the season 2-2. So I can make an argument for you on your side that momentum is overrated. On a side note, all the fucking chata heads and bastards are all in a wicked piss about what's going on with the Chargers, because what's happening is the Chargers, they're giving the Chargers are handing, according to the chata heads out there, they are handing the Broncos a number 1 seed, and then the final kick in the teeth for all the people out in Boston is, and then Justin Herbert comes in off a 2-week bye.
Yeah.
Like, they are livid over this.
You know what? Get over it. That's my deal. I mean, look, we can argue about whether there should only be 1 bye, when there used to be 2. I mean, I get that. But Jim Harbaugh's not doing anything for the Denver Broncos. Jim Harbaugh's doing it for the Los Angeles Chargers. He's trying to get his team in the best shape that they can be to play in the playoffs. I mean, I'm sorry that that Patriots fans are making it all about them. Great, but they're not doing anything for the Denver Broncos.
Well, no, and I understand that. But if the roles are reversed and the Chargers were out in New England playing,
of course you'd have
Broncos fans would be upset.
Of course they would. Yes,
I'm poking fun. Poking fun, but Broncos fans would feel the same way. We might do this tomorrow, but I'm going to throw a tease out there.
All right.
Tomorrow's our final show of 2025. And usually, it's very, every sports talk radio station, what are the top stories of the year? You know what the funny thing is? I can make an argument for 4 different topics that would be number 1.
Okay.
Number 1, the Broncos with a 13-3 record, and piggyback that to, or saddle that to, Sean Payton saying, I believe this is a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
That could be the story of the year. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you another potential story of the year. How about Jokic's historic season so far just in 3 months?
Yeah.
How about the Avalanche only losing 2 regular season games?
Yeah.
How about the Rockies actually shoveling all the shit out of the building and finally making a concentrated effort to change things around? I can make a case that is the top story of the year. The Rockies cleaning house. Nikola Jokić, Nathan McKinnon, what he's doing right now. Avalanche losing 2 games. Everything that the Broncos have currently done, and the utter collapse of Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes.
Wow.
That could be another top story of the year, don't you think?
Just goes to show you how much meat on the bone we have in this place, right? There's
Yeah.
a lot of things going on that are very discussion, debate worthy, which is wonderful. That's part of the reason I love doing this show so much.
And you know what I love about it is all 4 of our major professional sports teams can all claim number 1. Because usually it's just the Broncos and maybe the Avs, or the Broncos and maybe the Nuggets, or the Nuggets and just the Avs. The Rockies are almost never in this unless you go back to 2007.
Right.
But all 4 teams have done something different. They made a good decision, or the record shows, or individual performances.
By the way, I have a hat to wear tomorrow.
Right.
That I will be displaying as we head into the college football playoff.
Right.
Right? Because I believe a little team from Indiana is going to start their march for the college football playoff championship.
By the way,
God,
I'm going to tell you something funny. I should tell you this off air. So we had a party at my house and yada, yada, yada. No, I'm going to tell you this on air now.
Right. Yeah.
So we had a big get together with a bunch of friends, a holiday party 2-3 weeks ago. And I ordered myself an Indiana hat.
Yeah.
But knowing you were coming and knowing that you're going to be retiring after the Broncos season, I wanted to give you that hat. You know that, right?
I do know that.
It was supposed to be for me, but I wanted to give it to you as a retirement.
It looks better on me, frankly. So, that's what we're going with. I'm wearing it proudly tomorrow. I'm going to be in India because are we doing the show on Thursday?
On New Year's Day?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Then I will wear my Indiana hat tomorrow.
But here's the funny thing. So after I gave it to you, I ordered one for myself.
Right.
I think it's going to be here on January 2nd.
No, not
Swear
really.
to God.
Well, okay.
I mean, like Amazon delivers everything next day.
Yeah.
They told when I ordered it the day after the party, they told me it was going to take 2 weeks. And I think it's supposed to be here on Friday.
They were obviously Ohio State fans. That just screwed you over, for God's sakes. Well, I will wear my Indiana hat with great pride in my newly adopted school. So there you go.
That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Make it the best possible day you can.